What's going on, guys? Just Mickey Designs, and in today's episode I'm going to show you how to change a CV or a CV boot in my case. So working on your 4x4, your bucky, whatever you guys want to call it, is part and parcel about off-roading. Not only does this give you a really good level of understanding about your vehicle, on a mechanical level, if things start sounding odd or possibly break out on the tracks, or if you're away with your family somewhere remote, you have a good opportunity to possibly repair that item on a temporary basis or permanently repair it out on the tracks. So that's why I really enjoy working on my vehicle as much as I can and do all the maintenance myself. Now, so upon changing my suspension to my track riders, my headers, loosening off the UCAs, it releases all the pressure on the joints, and doing that, it can and possibly can release the CV joint, which actually sits in a recess. Basically a ball that sits in a recess, and when that pops out, it's not always the easiest to get back in. It's a little bit fiddly, but it can easily be put back in. And doing so, I pinch the CV boot, not knowing that, and I just inspect my vehicle from time to time, make sure everything's okay, look for oil leaks, and I spotted a whole lot of grease all over the wishbone. And basically what's happened is, because it's a constant velocity joint, meaning it spins with the speed of the wheel and with the heat, it basically just turns that grease into really thin, and it just released out of that little hole and it's sprayed all over the wishbone. So there's not a lot of grease left in that CV joint, which is not good. So I need to change it, put new grease in there and get it back in there. So relatively easy to do on an IFS vehicle, which is an independent front suspension. You need a 36mm socket for your front axle. What I've done is remove the wheel, and then you get your brake line, your ABS line out of the way, crack your top UCA, and then get your 36mm socket, crack the axle, and basically get yourself a decent size spanner. That'll fit to the back of your CV joint. You just pop that out. Hopefully the axle doesn't come out with the CV joint. It's not an issue if it does pop out. You can always slide it back in. And then we can have an opportunity to change that boot and get everything repaired and re-greased. So yeah, not always fun, but it's definitely one of those things that you need to sort out, especially coming into the winter months when there's going to be a lot of salt on the roads, and it's one of those joints that needs to be sorted. So let's get into it. Alrighty guys, once you got to this stage, you've popped your axle, you've got all the things out of the way, you can actually get your CV out now. This is not the entire CV, the actual housing for these bearings is still inside the vehicle. So what I've done to release that is actually split the retaining tape that goes around the side, and basically just pull straight out. And as you can see, it's just 3 bearings on there that oscillate on these balls, and they slide into that housing over there. This is probably the easiest way to do it. Just in case I pop my entire axle out, I'm just going to do this. I'm only changing my CV boot, I'm not changing the entire CV. So what I'm going to do now is release that clip there, and then we've got a circlip that actually holds all this mechanics together, and that'll pop off the splines, and then we can get the new CV boot on there. Alright guys, now that you've got your CV and your bearings released from your CV joint, now's a good time to give it a really thorough clean, inspect all the teeth on your CV joints. Always good practice to do that. And basically on mine, I had a small split in my boot and it threw all the grease out all over the wishbone, so I've cleaned that all up. So generally there's a lot of grease in here, there's not so much left. It's not good, tiny little hole. So once you've got that off, clean that, inspect it, and then I've got a kit from SKF. It comes with your CV boot, your 2 clamps, and then it comes with 2 Python bags full of grease, which is very much appreciated, because that is really cool to just make a small little incision and then just pipe it in, get everything greased up and lubed. And then basically it's just doing everything in reverse, sliding that bit over, getting the clamp in place, and then yeah, then it's pretty much done, all sorted. So there you have it guys, a one-time CV boot changed, basically on the same principles of actually changing the entire CV exactly the same way. CV boot is slightly a little bit more fiddly because you've got to remove the bearings and then get that done. So CV boot, well, your CV is a lot easier as it just slides out and slides a new one back in, so it'll be a lot easier. Apart from that, the longest thing that took the longest was getting that axle nut off. It's a 36mm socket, and boy does it take some arm power to get that bad boy cracked. Once it's done, it's relatively straightforward from there. If that helped you out, hopefully it did. That's why I make these videos. Give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and share it with your friends, and hopefully I'll see you guys out on the tracks.